So I'm John Passalacqua. I'm the CEO of First Phosphate. First Phosphate is fully dedicated to the lithium iron phosphate battery, and it's extracting and purifying phosphate for the lithium iron phosphate battery. Normally, when we think phosphate, we think fertilizer, but our company is instead 100% focused on the technology side of things, lithium iron phosphate battery, which is now the leading battery by outputs in the world. Right now we've done 25,000 meters of drilling at Saguenay-Lac-St-Jean, which is a property that's about 70 kilometers from the deep sea port of Saguenay. We found some exceptional high-grade phosphate that obviously can be purified into purified phosphoric acid to make a lot of precursor for LFP battery, lithium iron phosphate battery. So this project, we've got about a 3 kilometer magnetic strike zone. The full strike is about 6 kilometers by about 500 meters. And we found some very high grade phosphate, about 10 to 12% in one region, 8 to 10% in another region. And the lowest grade we get to is about 6%, which is still quite high, and it's going to make for a very interesting PEA, 43101 and PEA, which is coming up here in the next few months. So what's important to know about the lithium iron phosphate battery is that in 2023 it represented 70% of battery output out of China. So it is really the battery that's taking over as the battery of mass adoption. And I know when we think batteries, we always think electric vehicles. Well, LFP battery has so many different uses. Only less than 10% of its uses are for electric vehicles. The other 10% of uses is for commercial transportation, which I guess is a form of transportation, but buses, commercial vans. About 100% of that commercial transportation is on LFP battery in China. And then we have another 60% of the battery uses, which is large-scale energy storage. So that's to store energy in your own garage once you have an electric vehicle, but also for municipalities who need to store their energy during off-peak hours. You've got some very large battery farm projects that are starting up to store wind, solar, and sometimes hydroelectric power, and those are all based off of LFP battery. So lithium iron phosphate battery is very safe technology. It doesn't have the same combustible properties as some of the other batteries, and also it is one of the cheapest forms, or the most cost affordable forms of cathode active material, and that's why the battery is really taking off in terms of a safe product, one that's cost effective, and one that can really help us down the road to electrification. I'd like the shareholders to know that we're all very well invested in the company. I'm the largest shareholder. I've invested sizable amount of actual net dollars into the company. Most of our management is well invested in the company as well. All of our staff, including myself, for the most part, work for RSUs. That's for shares. We do not take salaries, and we're here for the long run. And we're here, and I'd like to think that as shareholders, we try to have your back. Obviously, being well invested in the company, working for shares, and having a really strong component of management and board ownership of the company is what makes the real difference here. We treat it like our own business, but we treat it like everybody's business, and we're here to make it work. So there was 4 of us that came up to speak. I'm the 4th. First it was David, who spoke in French, and then we had Armand, who spoke in his native Innu language, and then we had Gary Stanley, who spoke in American, and I guess I'm going to speak in Canadian English.